A shocking number of death row inmates are possibly innocent, and that's according to a new study that was done by researchers that feel very passionately about this particular topic. The name of the study is Rate of False Conviction of Criminal Defendants Who Are Sentenced to Death. And what the researchers found, and there were 4 authors who actually did this research, they reviewed the outcomes of the 7,482 death sentences handed down from 1973 to 2004. Of that group, 117, or 1.6%, were exonerated. So that's a significant amount. 117 people could have been murdered by our country for a crime that they did not commit. So that's important to keep in mind. But the actual number of those people who should be exonerated could be double. Now, more than double the percentage of capital defendants who were exonerated during more than 3 decades that were studied. That means innocent people were languishing behind bars. Now, the reason why that's the case is because oftentimes people who are facing the death penalty or have been sentenced to the death penalty, and they know they're innocent, will fight to have their sentence changed from capital punishment to life behind bars. And as soon as they get life behind bars, they give up the fight. They're like, at least I get to keep my life, even though I'm gonna be behind bars. Since they give up that fight, they never get to be exonerated like those who actually did fight for their innocence, or at least had the support from those from the Innocence Project. They've done wonderful work when it comes to that. Now, more than 200 other prisoners could have been cleared during those 3 decades that were studied by these researchers from the University of Michigan. And also from 1973 to 2004, more than 35% of death row inmates were spared from capital punishment, but remained incarcerated. So what do you guys think about this? I mean, this is a topic we talk about on TYT quite a bit. Cenk and I are both against the death penalty for this reason specifically. And it's really hard to defend the death penalty when you have this kind of data.
I'm against the death penalty for that reason, but for not only because people are innocent, the state kills innocent people, there couldn't be a worse thing than that, but the bigger reason is because if you ask people the ideology behind the death penalty, they say it acts as a deterrent to other people committing horrendous crimes, which is not true, right? The science doesn't bear that out, that the death penalty has, and in fact, when someone is executed in a state, the number of murders rises in the month following that execution. So what we're really doing, the real reason why we have the death penalty in America is revenge, right? So that's what it satisfies the dark side of our consciousness, which is revenge, and that's what it teaches. That, and it teaches that violence actually is a way to deal with some of our problems. You got a problem, you can kill someone, and that'll solve that problem. And it also teaches revenge. And this teaches disrespect for the law because you go, oh, we're killing, and I'm gonna guess that the overwhelming majority of those people were black, right, that are on death row. And so it's just, that's why I'm against the death penalty. I don't know, how about you, Desi?
Oh yeah, I mean, I am against it as well, not just because, the data shows that the law is unequally applied, especially the death penalty. It also shows that depending on what state you're in, what district you're in, the composition of your jury, how competent your counsel is, that all of these are factors that go into these death penalty cases. And until you can have good legal representation across the board in all of these cases, then the state, cannot say for sure that without a reasonable doubt that you were the one that committed this crime. And obviously this data shows that no, that's not the case. Just because a jury says so doesn't mean it's true. And to me, I'm also against it, not just on the evidentiary basis, but the state should not be in the business of killing its own people.
Yeah.
Period. End of story. That's an authoritarian government tool. It should not be used in the United States.
I just feel like it sends the wrong message. Like, we are going to kill you for killing someone else.
Oh, I understand the idea behind it.
Right.
It's the idea that, oh, you are such, or this convicted criminal is such an awful human being that they should not be allowed to live on this planet anymore, even if they're incarcerated and can't hurt anybody anymore.
Yeah, I covered all this.
I know you did. I know. I just did it shorter.
Well, someone's feisty today. Damn.
Well, yes, those are all the tangible reasons that I think are completely legitimate, but I agree with your last point, just the philosophical point that I don't think the state has the right to kill anyone. We have enough of a screwed up prison system in the first place, so even adding to that the state could kill somebody, it accomplishes nothing.
It shows that it's not a deterrent, right? We murder murderers because we say it's a deterrent, but we try to to close our eye to the fact that someone's murdering someone, right? That's what's happening. They call it an execution, it's a murder. We try to close it, but we don't do that with other crimes. We don't burn down the house of an arsonist. We don't rape a rapist, right? Because we don't want to become those things. And that's the thing also about torture. People think that the only person damaged during a torture session is the person being tortured, but it also damages the torturer, right? You become a depraved torturer now, just like the person who executes someone becomes an executioner. You're now an executioner, which is, and no one, people can't, that's such a deplorable thought in people's minds that they have the 3 different buttons when you press the, so they don't even let you know who's going to be the person killing them, or the firing squad. They have, not everybody gets a bullet. So that's such a horrible thing that, but yet we're still going to fucking do it, right? I mean, if that doesn't tell you how bad it is, that we don't even want the person doing it to know they're doing it, then we shouldn't be doing it at all.